so I don't know if we can have him on. David Barton, welcome to the program.
Get ready on the
dump switch
button. Because
David, how are you?
Hey, Glenn, doing well.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that, David?
Listen to the racism already starting.
Wow.
The anti-women racist.
Wow, the anti-Semitic.
My gosh.
How are you doing, Glenn?
David, I
didn't even say hi to a woman. He only said hi to a
that's
man.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I have a feeling, just based on his response here, he hasn't been briefed for this phone call, so he has no idea what the heck we're even doing. David, did you hear Bob Barr's comment about you in a debate with Loudermilk yesterday?
Yes, sir, sure did.
That's one of the most incredible things I've ever heard.
You know, that is something that has been kept really active and going by a bunch of George Soros-funded bloggers and groups. And it's really disturbing that Bob Barr, who is portraying himself as conservative, is pulling his information down from Soros groups.
He says that you are anti-Israel, and I remember being in Israel, well, I think twice now with you, and
Yep.
wow. You want to talk about anti-Israel. When you were singing the Hamas theme song the whole time,
Right.
I couldn't take it.
That's right, yeah.
Said you were...
You've been there with me. I guess we're both in the same boat on that, bro.
I know. You're anti-Semitic, and again, I think we can leave that one just David Barton anti-Semitic, and we all know what that means. And anti-women voting. This is one that has come out, I don't even know, recently, or is this just an old thing being dug up?
Well, you know, it's a new one to me. I've never realized I was that.
No, I know that.
It came from some suffrage comment that you made about suffrage was about how the founders were protecting families.
Yeah,
right?
You talked about how it was one vote per family, and the wife and the husband were one, and so that is the way biblically it is, and so they would cast their vote as a family. And they have taken that now and said that you say that was the beginning of the end of our country when we let them women vote. I should say, and I know you like...
That came out of a radio program. I remember the radio program. And I also said in that when there was not a man in the family, the women voted. And I also talked about how many women voted in early America. I talked about how that was a biblical precedent going back to Joshua and Caleb. And so I also clearly laid out women voting in the founding. As you recall, even back in the Fox days, you and I did programs on women voting in the founding era.
Was that also the program where you said them dames shouldn't be allowed out of the kitchen? Is that the same one?
That was it.
Yeah, that was the same episode where he referred to Hillary Clinton as doll face.
Unlikely in several ways.
It's so ridiculous. It's amazing how they've twisted everything you stand for. And fortunately, Barry Loudermilk did not denounce you. He said he explained that a lot of people endorse him, and he was proud to have your endorsement. And by the way, no, I won't. No, I won't denounce him. And so, but it would have been great if he would have asked Bob Barr for one specific instance where you've said anything remotely.
It is not wise as a politician. It's never wise to ask
if you don't know the answer.
And don't ask a question that you don't know the answer, because how could he have debated it?
Yeah.
David, let me switch gears on the border. Right now, something weird is really happening. I think that Joe Scarborough declared that I was like Jesus, which was really weird. And the left is taking that to bash Christian conservatives. And what I'm trying to do is show that we have to engage with our head and our heart. We have to keep our head solid and squarely on our shoulders and say, we think these people need to be sent back home, that we do not believe in illegal immigration. All the laws must be enforced, or you change those laws. On the other hand, while these kids are here, it is not the responsibility of the United States government. It is our responsibility as Christians to the least of these, cup of water, give them, their food, give them the cloak off your back. We're commanded to be the Good Samaritan. And it's causing a lot of confusion. Where do you stand on this?
I stand firmly you mentioned this is a Christian thing to do. I'll point out it's a biblical thing to do. There's 205 verses in the Bible that tell us to take care of the poor, to take care of the needy, to take care of those who have problems. Out of the 205 verses, the only thing that government is told to do is that when the poor come into court, make sure they get justice. Everything regarding their physical needs comes back to family or to the church or to the synagogue. That is the right way to do it. That's the way it was always done. Thomas Jefferson and George Washington were both vestrymen, which meant that they were in charge of arranging help for the poor in their counties. That's the way it was done. They went through their church. They went through their home. When George Washington left for battle, he left explicit instructions to take care of the poor that might come to the door of Mount Vernon. He told his farm manager there to make sure you take care of the poor. So all the way through, this has been what individuals have done as a result of their faith. The Good Samaritan is exactly right. He didn't kneel down and say, now, how did you get here? Were you walking this road illegally? Did you get beat up by these thieves because you shouldn't have been here? He didn't ask that question. He said, you're in need. I'm going to take out of my money. I'm going to help you. I'm going to take you to get medical treatment, and I'm going to tell the doc there to bill me for it. That's the image that we've always had, and I'm exactly on your side with this, Glenn, because that is the biblically right position to be.
So tell me now, let's balance the heart and the head and balance these two citizenships. I don't know if I sent you this email while I was on vacation, David, but I said the problem that I think that we're having right now is we're focused on our citizenship of the United States of America, and we will lose that citizenship if we lose our first citizenship in the kingdom of God. And that if you don't have that, you will definitely lose your secondary citizenship, because the secondary citizenship is based on the first one. At least our system of government, it goes back to Adam's. It is a wholly inadequate system for a people that is not religious and moral. So it's impossible to do. Now let's balance this back and forth. What people will say is, the parents are being irresponsible by sending them here. B, the government is already taken care of. C, you're just making it easier. You're sending a message that, yes, there's plenty of people that'll care for my kids, and so you're sending the message across the border that, yeah, look, and even everybody's welcoming them and helping them with food and water and everything else. So you're playing into their hands. How do you respond?
Several ways. Those are all excuses. That does not change the fact there are needs there, and I don't make excuses for why I don't meet needs. If I see someone lying in the middle of the road, I'm not going to ask how they got there or whether I'm facilitating them being there again. I'm going to meet their need. That's a simple bottom line to it. And the aspect that you have to be a citizen of heaven in order to be a good citizen is exactly the position we've held forever. That's why Adam said what he said. If you cannot control yourself according to principles as simple as the good, as the Ten Commandments, the Golden Rule, the Good Samaritan, there's not enough government in the world to help people do what's right. The point that I love that you made is thinking with our heart and our head. Ecclesiastes 7:11 says that when a law is not enforced, it encourages other lawbreakers. That's our problem not only with immigration law, we're not enforcing it, and therefore we're encouraging this. That's our problem with a whole bunch of laws that we're not enforcing, and it's causing the same kind of problems. So that's a political area that has to be dealt with in the political realm. But in the meantime, that may take months. It may take years to get that fixed. We're not going to tell these kids, just hang on for a few years and then somebody will get back to you. I mean, you can't do that. You meet needs where you see them, at the time that you see them. If you don't have that heart of compassion, if you've hardened your heart to needs because you think that's politically incorrect for your viewpoint, then that's just not a good deal.
I said last hour, the 4th of July, there were several of us that didn't feel that stir of patriotism during the 4th of July ceremonies, wherever we might have been. And I said, it's because we used to be stirred by the flags and the symbols of America. But now those symbols have been so tarnished by the thoughts of, I don't know if we're a good country right now, and I don't know what we're doing right now. And we're not replacing or replenishing the goodness that we thought America was all about, and in many ways always has been all about, goodness. We were great because we are good, but we're not seeing the goodness from neighbor to neighbor. We're not seeing the goodness. We're only seeing it in our own communities, and our own people that agree with us. We're good to each other, but that's not enough to make your heart swell on the 4th of July. Would you agree?
I would agree. And I'm actually finishing a book right now with George Barna. And one of the things that polling shows is that individuals are becoming more isolationism with their faith, with their life, with their family. They're spending less time with other people, period, across the board. We've lost a sense of community. We've lost a sense, even in our family, we're spending more time apart from our spouses, more time apart from our kids. It's just not a healthy situation. We're becoming. There's a Bible verse in Proverbs 18:1 says, "He that isolates himself is not wise," and that's what we're starting to do with our individual lives, and that's part of why we're having the difficulties we are having in the country. I mean, you and I have talked before that you have 4 out of 6 Americans that do not vote for a president of the United States, and 6 out of 8 that do not vote for senators and reps. That's an isolationism that's hurting the country. And we've got to get outside our comfort boxes and get back into engaging with other people all around us everywhere we turn if we're going to have that pride again on the 4th of July.
I love you, David, and I'm just honored to know you, and I think you are one of the great national treasures of America. And I really have many times gotten down on bended knee and thanked the Lord for introducing me to you and that doll face of yours, Cheryl, who is just the best.
David, will you now renounce the endorsement of Glenn Beck?
Of one Glenn Beck?
I'll take that one proudly, bro. Yeah. I'll take that one proudly.
David, we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Look forward to it. Bless you.